On Halloween night, strange things happen. But this one, you'll never see coming. Halloween had always been a night of spooky decorations and harmless pranks in Clara's small town. But this year, something felt off. As the full moon rose, casting an eerie glow over the streets, Clara noticed a stray black cat sitting alone on her front porch. It was unlike any cat she had seen before. Its fur was so dark it seemed to absorb the light, and its green eyes glowed like fireflies in the moonlight. Clara had never been superstitious, but there was something about this cat. It didn't move. It just sat there, staring at her as if it knew something she didn't. She hesitated but eventually reached out to pet it. The moment her hand touched its fur, a chill shot through her body, and she yanked her hand back. But the cat followed her inside as if it belonged there. Her heart raced. Was this an omen? Was something bad about to happen? She had heard the stories, how black cats on Halloween were supposed to bring misfortune. But this wasn't just any black cat. The lights in her house flickered. At first, she thought it was just a power surge, but then the air around her began to feel heavy. Every clock in the house stopped at exactly midnight, even though it was barely 10 p.m. And no matter where Clara went, the cat's glowing eyes were fixed on her. She tried to ignore it, but strange things began happening. Her reflection in the mirror seemed to delay its movements. Her phone began playing eerie music on its own. And every time she turned a corner, the cat was there, watching, waiting. Her friends were at a Halloween party down the road, but Clara was too afraid to leave the house now. What if the cat wasn't just bad luck, but something more? Something dangerous? Then Clara heard a soft knock on her door. When she opened it, there was no one there. Just a small, old-fashioned envelope lying on her porch. It had her name on it, written in delicate swirling letters. Inside was a note. By dawn, your fate will be sealed. But choose wisely. The cat knows. Clara's heart sank. What did it mean? She looked down at the cat, which now sat by her feet, tail flicking, eyes glowing even brighter. Was this some kind of trick? Or was there something far more sinister at play? The cat meowed softly and then walked toward the door, looking back at Clara as if urging her to follow. Clara didn't know what else to do. The tension in the house was unbearable. Every shadow seemed to whisper her name, and the walls felt like they were closing in. With a shaky breath, she followed the cat outside onto the deserted street. As they walked, the town felt different. The streetlights flickered, casting long, twisted shadows. The cat led her to the old, abandoned house at the edge of town, the one everyone avoided. It sat in darkness, save for the dim light of the full moon illuminating its cracked windows. The cat paused at the door, and Clara's breath hitched as the door creaked open on its own. She stepped inside, the air thick with dust and mystery. Inside, she found an old woman sitting by the fire, her back to Clara. "I've been waiting for you," the woman said, her voice a raspy whisper. Clara's heart pounded in her chest. The woman turned slowly, revealing her face, wrinkled and pale, with eyes just like the cat's. "The cat. He chose you. You have a choice to make," the woman said, extending a bony hand. "One wish. But be warned, every wish comes with a price." Clara's mind raced. She had always heard stories about witches granting wishes, but she never believed them. Now, here she was, standing in front of one. She glanced down at the cat, its glowing eyes reflecting her uncertainty. Without thinking, she whispered, "I want to know my future." The old woman smiled, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "Very well." She waved her hand, and the room spun, dissolving into a dark, swirling mist. Clara's heart raced as images flashed before her eyes. Visions of a life she had never imagined, both filled with joy and heartache. But the final image stopped her cold. It was herself, alone. The cat still by her side, but everything else she loved gone. When the vision ended, Clara stood back in her living room, but everything was different. The clocks were ticking again, the lights steady. Yet the cat still sat at her feet, its eyes no longer glowing, but watching her with quiet intensity. Clara had her answer, but it wasn't the one she wanted. The future she had seen was inescapable, and the cat was now her constant companion. She could feel its presence in every corner of the house, never leaving her side. Its quiet purr was a reminder of the price she had paid for knowing too much. As Halloween night faded into dawn, Clara realized the true horror wasn't what the cat had brought, but what it had shown her. If you think this story gave you chills, imagine what's next. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more spine-tingling tales.